got another assessment we can do, and that is that we can essentially facilitate that sling, that anterior oblique sling, by asking you to push your shoulder up towards the ceiling against my hand, and then pick up your left leg like that and back down, and then let's relax and try again. Any difference there between the two?
A little bit, maybe a little bit.
Try again.
Yeah.
Just push up against me. I'm not sure you pushed up against me there. Push up.
Sorry.
That's it. And then that's it. And then back down. And then without. Any difference?
It's easier if you.
A little bit easier with the. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I felt like a little bit of resistance, so I could.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. I think for most people that's going to be a little easier, but we're looking for discernible difference there, so then we can try this side as well. If you just push up with that shoulder towards the ceiling and then pick up the right leg, back down, and then try without, and see if there's any difference there.
I definitely find it easier pushing up.
Okay, and again that would be tying in with that sling that we thought was perhaps needed more conditioning, as it were.
Yeah.
And what exercises would you be giving her then?
So, well, a very sort of a basic one for the transverse abdominis is a 4-point. Anything that's in 4-point is good for the transverse abdominis. 4-point position, and just by being in this position, the viscera are falling forwards towards the floor, and so then the transversus is trying to hold them back. And because the transversus is the deepest layer of the abdominal wall, it's getting what's called interoceptive stimulation. So the viscera are touching it and essentially encouraging it to switch on. So just being in that position is actually quite a good exercise for the transverse abdominis. But what we can do is we can add load to this or add complexity by lifting opposite arm and leg. Okay. So again, for Emma, what we found was it was the left shoulder to right hip. So left shoulder to right hip sling that was slightly down. So what we wanted you to do is if you pick up your right hand and your left knee just enough to slide a piece of paper underneath, okay, then that anterior oblique sling from the right shoulder to the left hip is having to stabilize. And can you feel that working there?
I can, yeah.
And that's probably going to be slightly harder to go on that side than to try the other side and see how that feels.
Yeah, it's definitely harder the other side.
And that would generally be what you'd expect, is that the one that's shown up as being slightly weaker.
And is there a progression for that as well? As she gets better at lifting her papers with her, would you start doing those?
Absolutely,
flying dogs or whatever they're called?
Yes, exactly. So then you can do, sort of full, we call it horizontal. So you're taking the arms up to horizontal and leg up to horizontal. As you lift up and just create a small amount of rotation through the lumbar spine, that's where the multifidus will switch on. And it tends to co-contract with the transversus abdominis anyway. Right. So, being in that position, it's kind of what we call a big bang exercise. It covers lots of different bases. It does the slings, it does the transversus, it does the multifidus. You can get much more specific, so you can do an isolated multifidus exercise. But the objective is always to go from isolation up to integration. And so that 4-point one is somewhat integrated. It's what an infant does when they crawl. It's how they get their system ready for bipedal gaits.